Hey everyone, my name is Jacob, and I'm from a small town in Iowa, USA. I hope you're having a great day. Before we start, let me ask you something. What would you do if you found something very valuable that did not belong to you? Would you keep it? Would you sell it? Or would you try to find the real owner? Think about that for a moment, because today's story is about a farmer who faced exactly that situation. And believe me, what happened next completely changed his life. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and let's get into the story. A few years ago, there was a farmer named Daniel. Daniel lived in a quiet farming community. He wasn't rich. In fact, life was often difficult. His farm was small, his tractor was old, and every year he worried about money. Sometimes the weather ruined his crops. Sometimes prices dropped. It seemed like there was always a new problem. Still, Daniel was known for one thing. He was honest. Everyone in town trusted him. If Daniel promised something, he always kept his word. Now, one summer morning, Daniel was working in one of his fields. The sun was already hot. Sweat was running down his face. He was driving his tractor slowly across the land. Then suddenly, clank! The tractor hit something hard underground. Daniel stopped immediately. "Huh? What's that?" he said. At first, he thought it was just a large rock. That happens all the time on farms. But when he got down and started digging, he noticed something strange. There was a small metal box buried in the soil. His heart started beating faster. "Well, that's interesting," he said. He carefully pulled the box out. It was old and covered in dirt. Very old. Daniel opened it slowly, and his eyes became huge. Inside were dozens of gold coins, real gold coins. Not one or two, dozens of them. For a few seconds, he couldn't even speak. He simply stared. Then he looked around. The field was empty. Nobody was there. Nobody had seen anything. Now, imagine being Daniel. You work hard every day. You struggle to pay bills, and suddenly you find a box full of gold. Most people would probably think, "Wow, my lucky day." Honestly, I think many people would keep it. Maybe you would too. I don't know. But Daniel sat quietly for several minutes. He knew the land had belonged to another family many years earlier. Maybe the coins belonged to them. Maybe someone had hidden them long ago. He wasn't sure. But one thing bothered him. The treasure might not be his. That night, Daniel could hardly sleep. He kept thinking about the gold. Part of him wanted to keep it. Who wouldn't? He could buy new equipment, fix his house, pay off debts. Life would become much easier. But another part of him kept saying, if it isn't yours, you shouldn't keep it. The next morning, he made a decision, and it wasn't the easy decision. Daniel contacted the local historical society. Then he spoke with town officials. He reported exactly what he had found. Some people thought he was crazy. One neighbor even laughed. "Daniel, are you serious? I would have kept every coin." Daniel smiled. Maybe his neighbor was joking, maybe not, but Daniel felt peace in his heart. He knew he had done the right thing. Weeks passed. Experts examined the coins. It turned out they were more than 150 years old. The treasure had been hidden during a difficult period in American history. The story even appeared in local newspapers. Soon, people all over the state heard about the honest farmer. Then something unexpected happened. A wealthy businessman named Robert read the story. Robert owned several agricultural companies. What impressed him wasn't the treasure, it was Daniel's honesty. In today's world, honest people can be hard to find. Robert wanted to meet him. One afternoon, Daniel received a phone call. At first, he thought it was a prank. "Hello, this is Robert." Daniel almost dropped the phone. After talking for a while, Robert invited him to lunch. A few days later, they met. Daniel was nervous, very nervous. He wasn't used to fancy restaurants. He was just a farmer. But Robert was friendly. They talked for hours about farming, family, life, hard work, and honesty. At the end of the meeting, Robert said something surprising. "Daniel, People like you are rare." Daniel smiled politely. Then Robert continued, "I would like to invest in your farm." Daniel thought he had heard wrong. "What?" Robert laughed. "You heard me." The businessman offered financial support to help modernize the farm. New equipment, better irrigation systems, improved technology. Everything Daniel had dreamed about for years. And no, this wasn't charity. Robert believed Daniel would succeed. He trusted him. Because honest people earn trust, and trust creates opportunities. Over the next few years, Daniel's farm grew. Production increased, his profits improved. He hired workers from the local community. The business became successful, very successful. But here's my favorite part of the story. Daniel never forgot where he came from. He remained humble. He continued helping neighbors. He donated food to local families. And he often spoke at schools about honesty. One student once asked him, "Do you regret giving up the gold?" Daniel smiled. Then he answered, "Not for 1 second." The room became quiet. Then he added, "If I had kept the gold, I would have gained money, but I would have lost something more important, my integrity." That's a powerful statement, and honestly, I think he's right. Because money comes and goes, but character stays with you. People remember how you treat others. People remember whether they can trust you. And sometimes doing the right thing doesn't bring an immediate reward. Sometimes nothing happens. Sometimes life continues normally. But other times, the right decision opens a door you never expected, just like it did for Daniel. Now, I know this story sounds almost unbelievable, like something from a movie, but the lesson is very real. Every day we face small choices, maybe not boxes full of gold, but choices. Do we tell the truth? Do we keep our promises? Do we do the right thing when nobody is watching? Those moments shape our future, little by little, day by day. And often, people notice. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually they do. Before we finish, I want you to think about something. Imagine Daniel had chosen differently. Imagine he secretly kept the treasure. Maybe he would have made some money, but he never would have met Robert. He never would have gained that opportunity, and he might have spent years worrying about being discovered. Instead, he chose honesty, and honesty brought him something greater than gold. It brought trust, respect, friendship, opportunity, and a better future. So the next time you're faced with a difficult choice, remember Daniel the farmer. The easy choice is not always the best choice. Sometimes the harder path leads to the greatest rewards. Thank you for listening to this story with me today. I really enjoyed sharing it with you. Take care of yourself, keep learning English, and remember, your character is worth more than any treasure you could ever find. See you next time. Bye.